I really hope we see the Rockets versus the Grizzlies in the playoffs coming up in the Western Conference, hopefully in the semifinals. Because watching them last night, yes, there was some sloppiness during the game, especially in that first half. A lot of turnovers with the Rockets, 22 in the game. The Grizzlies had 17. I think the Rockets had 7 in the fourth quarter. And yeah, there was some sloppiness going on, but it's a young basketball team. You expect the Rockets to make those mistakes, but their defense was fighting. They were down 12 at one point. I think they went on a 16-2 run in the fourth quarter to get back in that game. Jalen Green, can we say enough about Jalen Green? The man has been unbelievable so far in January. Had another 42 points last night. He shot 13 of 18 from the field, 11 of 11 from the free throw line, 5 of 6 from three. What I was really impressed about Jalen Green was when Sengun was setting pick and roll actions with Green, and he had Zach Edey on him every time Jalen Green was driving to the basket. He wasn't settling for the 3-point shot. And in fact, he only attempted 6 3-pointers last night, which is really impressive stuff. And there was a moment in the game where the Rockets were down, I think it was 115 to 114. Jalen Green, they set a screen for him. He runs around the two guys, is again using his quickness to his advantages, and he goes up and scores on Brandon Clark. Not an easy basket, but it's a tough finish. And I just love his aggressiveness. I think it really favored his jump shot all night long because early to start the game, he was driving to the hole, blowing right past Edey, getting those easy layups and finishing at the rim. And that got him going. And then when he took those 3-point shots, he was already in rhythm to start the game. Now, obviously, what you want to see from Jalen Green is just more consistency. I know he's had his struggles in the past, but so far in January, here are the numbers for Jalen Green. And I'm just really impressed because he's a young kid, and I think he'll only get better as he learns the game and just continues to develop around this Rockets team. He is averaging 30 points a night, 92% from the free throw line, 45.6% from 3-point range. He's at 51% field goal percentages right now. So again, he's only going to get better. I like the way he's playing basketball. I like the way he can attack the rim. He had one finish. Well, man, if he finished that dunk, that would have been a top 10 dunk potentially this year already. I mean, the way he flew off and just tried to yam it in, that dude just got freakish athleticism and his quickness, his burst to the rim. It is really hard to stop Jalen Green. And hopefully he continues to be consistent because I know he's had his moments where he just disappears. He doesn't score a lot, doesn't make an impact. I think as he continues to mature, he'll work on other parts of his game like his playmaking, his rebounding, and he'll be a more versed shooting guard. Right now, he's still, I think, 22 years old? Let me make sure I get that information. Yeah, 22 years old. So he's still young and developing, and he might take a little bit more time to blossom. Between him and Amen Thompson, they have a really nice young core. Of course, Sangoon as well. And you got your vets in Brooks and Van Fleet. It's a really good roster. Then you look at the Grizzlies. They were playing a lot in transition, trying to score quickly because they know the Rockets' half-court defense is really good. They can lock you up, especially Thompson is really good in staying in front of his man. And the Grizzlies had the lead for a while, especially in that third quarter. They pulled away. They created some separation. And all of a sudden, that fourth quarter, the Rockets came storming back. Again, there was a lot of turnovers in this game. Rockets, like I mentioned, had 22 in the game. The Grizzlies had 17. The biggest thing that won Houston this game was the rebounding edge. They were at 40-31. And the assists. They had 25 assists, I believe. The Grizzlies only had 12. So the ball movement from Houston was what really stood out to me during this basketball game. Was it a fight? Yes. The Memphis Grizzlies did not make it easy. There's a point in the game where Ja Morant, he drove to the basket. With less than 8 seconds left, they had to go get a bucket. He just turned it over. Those things are going to happen when you're a guy like Ja Morant trying to finish at the rim. You're either going to be able to control the ball or turn it over. But I don't mind the attempt. Again, I think the 3-point attempts in this game was like a little over, I think it was like 63 attempts yesterday. It was beautiful basketball because, again, we're not seeing people just jack up threes the first shot they get, and they're not just settling for that all the time. It's good basketball. And you want to see that more often because seeing like the Celtics, I love my team, but man, the 53-point attempts can get very boring. They've been bringing that down a little bit and people complain about it. I like it because it makes the game more fun and it makes them less predictable. I think the Celtics should get back to 42 attempts again because people forget last year they were averaging 42 a game, and that's how they won the championship. So maybe look at that. I think the Cavs are averaging around 42 a game anyway. So, and they're 35-5. One of those, they did win tonight against the Pacers. But yeah, man, Grizzlies and Rockets. I hope we see that matchup. Now, I know it's going to be tough to get to the finish line, especially with the way Denver's playing right now. They're playing better basketball. If they get another piece on this roster, I still think they could use a third option in case Jamal Murray doesn't have it some nights and Westbrook is all over the place and sporadic and not able to give you the buckets you need during a basketball game. then it's going to be hard to hold them off. Also, Dallas, they're going to get healthier. I know Kyrie's playing tonight for Dallas. Luka should be back, I believe, at the end of the month. So you expect Dallas to start ramping up and go on a run. And we'll see if Houston and Memphis can hold them off. That's going to be an interesting challenge, especially with a Rockets team who's never been in this position before. Yeah, you look good right now, but the NBA in the Western Conference, it's hard to stay on at the top. It's not easy. So we'll see how Houston handles that challenge. I think they've won 3 or 4 in a row, which is good. They bounced back, especially after that Celtics game. But shout out to Jalen Green, man. He was really aggressive. I love the way he was playing basketball out there. Van Fleet had a huge three to give them the lead. And the Rockets were just really good. Sangoon on the short roll action, he was making it hard on the defense. He was either, playmaking, scoring right from the top of the key, just making the game easy. I know he has some turnovers, but again, it's a young basketball team. They don't have the experience yet. So they're going to have nights where they're going to turn the ball over, they're going to mess things up, and you're going to scratch your head. You're going to be frustrated. But the Rockets are a really good basketball team, especially on defense. Ime Udoka has been doing a fantastic job with them all year long. And we can't forget about the Grizzlies. I think if Ja can stay healthy, I know he had a little bit of an injury problem. I think it was like last week, and he was out for a few games. But hopefully he can stay healthy. Jackson's still there. I love their rookie in Wells. He's really good as a basketball player. He can defend. He can shoot the three. I think this team is going to be a problem in the Western Conference. If they can ramp up, get sharp, and really just battle it out, man, they're going to be fun to watch. And, Ja in the playoffs is on a different level. Hopefully the Grizzlies can add a guy like Jimmy Butler. I know Jimmy doesn't want to go there, but I think if you add Jimmy to that lineup, Desmond Bain, Jackson, and we're having different conversations about the Grizzlies because now you have a vet in Jimmy who knows what it's like to make the NBA Finals. I know he's never been there before, but you put him in Memphis, they are going to be a major issue in the Western Conference. You can't just pick OKC and say, oh, yeah, they'll just run through them. Not when you have multiple shot creators and Ja Morant shows up when you need him most. So, yeah, just a great matchup last night. I'm a big fan of these teams. I like where they're heading as organizations. And as long as, guys like Ja can stay healthy, Jalen Green can be more consistent. And you want to see that because, Thompson's right behind him. He could be the number one option. I don't know. He's still developing his game. But yeah, just two teams that are hungry, that are just trying to get better as basketball teams. And you love to see that type of competition down the stretch where you have to execute, you have to make plays. And yeah, shout out to the Rockets and Grizzlies. You guys got some good teams and should be excited for your future because as long as they continue to work on things like Josh staying healthy, getting more experience in the playoffs, Houston leaning on Jalen Green, and he's being more consistent, not just for a stretch of games, but throughout the rest of the season, they're going to be a problem for years to come. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'd love to hear your thoughts and reactions from the Rockets and Grizzlies game. Do you want to see these teams meet up in the playoffs? Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.